Hey Sag, it is CJ from CJ Soul Messages. Today I'm going to do your weekly reading from approximately March 8th till around the 13th or 14th of the 2022. A general read here, and I'm going to keep it pretty short with a 3-card spread. So let's just start right now. I'm going to open up with pulling a Divine Animal Oracle for you. It's not going to resonate with every single one of you, so please just remember that, right? Because it's not a direct one-to-one reading here. And as well as, you know, it applies to men and females and masculine, energies. So take the energy, and if it applies, it applies. If it doesn't, let it go. So let's get started. All right, 1 card here for our fire sign, Sagittarius, for the next coming week, approximately March 8th to the 13th of 2022. What animal energy do we have to work with here? Thank you. The Hare. Ooh, this is all about cycles. So you may be finding yourself this next week dealing with something that, 2 ways to take this. Cycles, you know, you might be having to close out a cycle. There might be something that you've already thought you dealt with and you've gone through, and there it is showing its head again, and you got to do it a different way so that the cycle can close. It also can indicate here, though, that just like the rabbit, you know, they reproduce quite quickly. You may be actually starting to see a lot of harvest coming your way. Look at all the little bunnies down there. So we'll have to see once we get the cards. All right, let's get a Moonology now. Actually, I want to shuffle the deck here. Premeditate, but sometimes I get this just kind of like this weird feeling of like, oh, no, don't do it yet. It's not ready. So, and I got to do it one more. Just heard again. One more time. So please be patient with me. All right. That feels ready. Okay. 1 card. Sagittarius, March 8th to the 13th. Ooh, okay. You are good enough. Full moon in Virgo. All right. So Sag, I'm wondering, is there some kind of energy here? Like I just was talking about cycles. Is there some kind of cycle that's going on inside your head or around you that is making you feel like you're not quite good enough? That's giving you some doubt. You're doubting yourself. And it almost feels like you've been here before. Like this is not something new. That every once in a while throughout your life, the path that you've been on, you know, you might start doing really, really well, and you get very successful and you have healthy relationships. I feel like there's something here that just shows its head once in a while, and you have to deal with it so that you can release it, so that the cycle can close out. But we'll see. That's just the energy I'm picking up right now off of this. Let's see the bottom of the deck. Don't let pride get in your way. Full moon in Leo. That's a fellow water sign. Interesting. So, I'm going to just wait. Nothing will come of this situation. And look at the big picture. That's your card. Full moon in Sagittarius. So you're actually showing up in this reading. And communication is key. I'm going to pull all of these because it just feels like they are needed. So just give me a second here. So I feel like there's something here going on with you, Sag, where I don't know, it just feels like a pattern keeps looping. Does that make sense? And you have to change it. There's a cycle that's got to be closing out here. And I feel like it's either with someone else, maybe someone else has made you feel not good enough, not just once, but twice. I mean, it could even more. I mean, sometimes we can even look back to our childhood here. And you know, there can be lingering feelings that still are buried within us that we do carry with ourselves as we become adults, etc. But we have to figure out a way to let it go. We have to find a way to actually release any negative energy that has kept us feeling like we're not good enough, that that we can't succeed, that we're not worthy of love. we got to work through that. And the way to do that is by communicating with someone else or communicating with yourself, because you have the new moon in Gemini. And Gemini is all about communication. They're the air element. And so I just feel like there's a different way you got to start approaching things if you so want to. And it says, don't let your pride get in the way here. So if you need some help or you need some guidance or you need to go ask for some help, I think you should do that so that you can release whatever this cycle is. Because, you know, a lot of times I pick up on the hair here, more of a abundance energy, but I'm actually just feeling more of like cycles. They need to close out. Something has to close out here. So I'm going to keep going here. Let's get into the Light Seers deck regarding this reading for you. I mean, it could even be someone that's around you. As I said, it could be family, could be a lover, could be a boss, whatever, different for everyone, that they might be keeping you, making you feel like you're not good enough. And it's just like stopping the cycle. They're asking you to look at the bigger picture here. Look at the bigger picture. Man, that's a powerful card showing up. And I feel with the nothing will come of this situation, which is, you know, void of course moon, I feel like as long as this cycle keeps repeating itself, nothing positive, like nothing's going to come of it. Nothing different is going to happen. That cycle is going to repeat itself until you are able to actually look at the big picture, really, really know in the deepest part of yourself that you are worthy, you are good enough. And if you do need a little bit of help, ask for help. You could even ask your angels if you believe in angels and spirit guides. Say it, talk to them. They are always around, at least that's what I believe. And ask them to help you figure out this. Ask them to help you release whatever cycle this is. Okay, let's get into the tarot. We'll get more information as we see what comes out. All right, let's get 3 cards for Sagittarius for this next week. Okay. Ace of Pentacles, brand new start. Page of Swords, new way of thinking. The Fool, there we go, just like that. Thank you, Spirit, I love it. And the Chariot's on the bottom. And you do have, you and your loved ones are safe here on the bottom of the Moonology deck. New Moon in Cancer. Chariot is Cancer's card. Some of you may be dealing with a Cancer. Wow, and then you have the Emperor. This is beautiful. So, okay, there is some cycle going on here. I don't know what it is. You know, it's going to be different for everyone. But there's some kind of cycle going on here, and it is connected with your esteem. Could even have a little bit to do with your ego here, because we do have the Leo's card, right? Don't let pride get in the way. There's some cycle that just feels like it keeps repeating itself and repeating itself and repeating itself, and no matter what, it just doesn't change. And the reason it doesn't change, and the reason why this keeps coming up, maybe it's it could be maybe you're drawing the same person towards you all the time, and then the outcome ends up the same as it was last time. You know, something like that here. But there's something that needs to change. There's something you got to let down, let go of. Because I don't feel like it's really serving you here. I really feel like it is not improving. It's not improving your relationships. I don't think it's improving your finances. I just feel like it's like it's a block that is really just, it's like covering the door. It's like a big rock that's pushed in front of a door, and you cannot get to the other side of the door until you remove this block, until you actually acknowledge whatever this is. And look, I feel like it's really connected. Maybe it's kind of a lifelong thing. Maybe you've had a lot of not so nice people tell you some really not nice things. And even though consciously you might think you don't believe it, subconsciously there may be some lingering belief in it. And it's keeping you from expanding. So, because when we look at the tarot here, we have the Ace of Pentacles. Beautiful. This is a brand new start. brand new start in your self-confidence as a reader. I read Pentacles, which is earth, as tangible things, money, etc., but also as our own self-esteem. And I feel here that this is the promise of, like, Saggy, look at the big picture. Is there something that is sabotaging you, your relationships, your career, whatever, that you just keep finding yourself, man, back at that same spot, back at that same with that same kind of person? It needs to be released. It needs to be acknowledged, dealt with, and released here. Otherwise, it's just going to continue going on. Ace of Pentacles, new way of feeling, new way of actually believing in yourself, and can then bring a lot of finances, positive finances, your way. Oftentimes, Ace of Pentacles is almost like a windfall for me. And what I mean by that is that, if you can have this aha moment happen where you're like, shit, I never looked at it this way. And God, I've been carrying this around for a long time. But now I understand it. The cycle closes out and you have these new starts, because you actually have the Ace of Pentacles, new beginning, and you have the Fool, which is all about the new cycle. The Fool is after the World, and the World is representing a cycle closing out. And in between these cards, you have the Page of Swords. New ways of seeing things, thinking things, communicating, new brilliant ideas, having more clarity in your mind. Perhaps you haven't had clarity in your mind for a while, but it is wanting to come towards you if you are able to acknowledge something here. There's something that needs to be acknowledged. And, I just keep getting drawn to, don't let your pride get in the way. Sometimes we get in a situation where we are really wanting to protect ourselves, and we might not be easy to acknowledge our own mistakes or our own shortcomings, although we all have them. We all have a shadow side. It's not always easy to acknowledge that or even to accept that, let alone admit it. But I feel like this is going to be the shift for you here if you want to. Because the Fool is a beautiful card. Oh, excuse me. This is that leap of faith. It is that brand new start. You already have everything that you need on you, within yourself, and you're ready to start something new. And it does not have to resemble the last cycle you were on. And I feel like it can shift a lot for you in a really beautiful, positive way. We have Chariot underneath. Okay. Chariot is like, this wants to come in fast. The Chariot is about getting back in the driver's seat. You have to see clearly when you're in the Chariot, because you are actually in charge of the Chariot. So you got to really know what direction you want to go in. There can be no wishy-washy here. You have to know which way you're going to go, but you can get there. And then when you do, you gain a lot of momentum. Underneath the Chariot, you have the Empress. This is all about, like, the harvest, after the hard work, after putting in all the effort, after, like, really, looking at yourself inside, outside, all that stuff, making the necessary adjustments, and then this abundance starts to grow. Again, abundance in however that means for you. But the Empress is a beautiful card. It is also one reminding you to nurture yourself, take care of yourself, protect yourself as well. A lot of times nurturing ourselves is acknowledging where we might be going off course, right? And I say off course, and then we have that void of course moon. So, and then we have Strength. Wow, I like this reading for you. We have Strength. That's Leo's card. Courage, bravery, being brave enough to acknowledge what you need to acknowledge. Brave enough to also understand the Serenity Prayer, right? Help me change what I can, help me accept what I cannot, and help me have the wisdom to know the difference, right? And underneath that, we have the King of Pentacles. So, again, very grounded energy as far as confidence, finances, and just feeling much more comfortable in your own skin if you haven't been. And then we have Judgment card, which is rising out of the ashes and also can speak of forgiveness, maybe there's someone you need to forgive. Maybe there's someone that you need to ask forgiveness from. But it is a very, very powerful card when Judgment shows up in a reading. Okay, let's get some clarifiers here. It is a really cool reading here, but it is actually, they are asking you to look very deeply at what cycle you've been in, and if it has happened over and over again, perhaps there's this need to change it, to look at the bigger picture and try and figure out why, and then what you can do about it. Wow, 3 of Cups. Oh my gosh, and you get the Fool again. So you have 2 Fools now, and you actually have your card on the bottom, Temperance, and you have Death. Wow. So you got a lot of major arcanas here. 3 of Cups has come out. It's basically telling you, if you can acknowledge what needs to be changed and you can acknowledge your truth here, Sagittarius, I almost said Scorpio, but we do have the Death card, and you can release it, there's going to be this celebration. That's what 3 of Cups is. It's celebrating, a lot lighter of a heart, a lot lighter emotions. Then you have the Fool again. So double confirmation, this new beginning, this new cycle, this new journey wants to come in for you. And then you have your card. You're showing up in your own reading. Temperance, getting back to being centered within yourself. Really trying to actually see things very clearly, again, I want to say here. And it is also reminding you that you're going to need some patience, Things like this don't just happen exactly overnight. And then you have Death, which is, letting this cycle die out now. It needs to. It wants to. The higher energy here wants you to make the necessary adjustments so that you can go on a brand new path, and one that feels like it's going to be a lot more beautiful for you, and I think a lot more abundance in a lot of different ways. Now, we do also have, after I pulled those cards, we do have 7 of Swords showing up. Now, it is the 5th card on the bottom of the deck, so the energy isn't near as strong, but I do feel pulled to let you know about the 7 of Swords. This can indicate 2 things here. It can indicate that, because swords are our communications, right? And how we speak and all of that. It can either indicate that somewhere along the line, maybe on this cycle that seems to want to keep repeating itself, someone has stolen from you time and time again. Emotionally, probably, could be even financially. And so you've got to change this so that you don't attract the same people towards you. Business or, personal relation. It can also indicate here that there may be a little bit of self-deception going on. Because the 7 of Swords is about deception. It is about sneakiness. It's about, kind of trying to get away with trickery. But we as humans are capable of tricking ourselves way more often than we would like to admit. So just have to bring that up. And underneath that is the Queen of Swords, which is actually saying, show the truth. She carries the sword of truth here, and she is all about the clarity and the truth. Really, that's what she's about, the truth at all costs. So I do feel that Spirit is indicating here, Sag, if this is making sense to you, that there is a little bit of work to do here for yourself so you can free yourself from the cycle. And that's going to shift everything for you. So I'm going to get one final card here from the Wisdom of Oracle. It's quite a lot of energy for a weekly. Now, obviously, take it with a grain of salt. This could be when it starts to happen over this next week. You might not see the Fool, this brand new journey, maybe for another month. It's gonna change. Time is fluid. All right, let's get one card for Sag. Close out this reading. Thank you. Orphaned. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay, that makes my heart hurt. Orphan came out. So there's some damage from the past. That's what I was picking up. Could be from your parents, could be from your family. Do you know what I mean? It could be from ex-lovers. But there's a feeling here of being orphaned, alone, left alone, and just feeling like deserted, actually, is the energy I'm really picking up here. I feel like this is what is behind, the cycles and behind the not feeling good enough. So if you're resonating with this, you may have more of a tendency to really protect yourself and not allow yourself to be very vulnerable. You might actually even not like it when people become vulnerable with you because you don't want to get too close. Okay? That's just the energy I'm really picking up. And orphan showing up when we have you are good enough, it's very much talking to someone here that has felt really abandoned and hurt, and so therefore has kept this kind of sense of protection around them. And that just makes me sad. But we got to get out of that, because there are people that love you, and you are loved, Sagittarius, and you are good enough. So try and work on this to release these feelings of orphaned, Bottom of the deck is building blocks. It's like starting over again. One step at a time, one block at a time, just slowly taking your time to begin again. It is the number 28. It reduces down to 10, which is a 1, which is the Magician card. So if you want this new change, you want this new cycle, and you want to release this pain, that's what you're going to need to do, is take it one step at a time. And then we also have Observer underneath. So Observer is speaking about observing. Like take a step back and observe. Is there that feeling of abandonment? Has there been that feeling of not being good enough? Maybe throughout your entire life. And if that is so, as painful as that can be, and as much work as we have to put into those situations, it is so worth it at the end, because then we become more connected with our true, authentic self, and it doesn't then bleed into every other relationship we have, because we've been able to close it off, and we've been able to release it and relinquish it because it is not ours to own anymore, and therefore the new start happens. So Sag, that is what I have for you. My heart goes out to you. It's a tough one, right? But in some way we all usually have some kind of feeling of not being good enough at a certain point. Some of us have it even way more throughout our entire life. So we've got to change the cycle if we want more positive things to come our way. So I'm going to leave it there. I wish you a very beautiful, beautiful week. Take it easy and take it slow, and, be really kind to yourself as well as those that matter to you. All right, Sag, big hugs, all my love to you, and we'll see you next time.